Thank you for tuning in to Mona Lisa Late Night. Grab your glass and let's get started. But before we get there, please go to my website, www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got merchandise, we've got t-shirts, we've got cups, we've got totes, we've got everything you need. We've even got my book, Life After the Diagnosis. So, let's go ahead, grab your glass, bottoms up, let's start talking. Good evening, and welcome to Evenings with Mona Lisa. And yes again, we have Love Is Series Part 3 happening for you. If you missed it this morning, we had an awesome time. Please go to the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, where else? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. It might even be on Instagram. If you missed it, go check it out. Matter of fact, all month long, we have had amazing couples on the show that we have questioned and poked and primed. And I want to thank everyone who was able to come on the show and spill their beans. What a wonderful time we had. So tonight, I'm not really sure, but we do supposed to have a couple come on tonight. So we shall see. Hopefully they'll be able to make it. But until then, as you know, my beautiful art gallery that in the evenings we're only on for 30 minutes. So come on in. So I'm going to pretty much run this show until we can get our wonderful guest to pop on. And I can basically answer the questions or whatever the case may be. I mean, hey, it's whatever. So question number one. Oh, we got some folks talking to me. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Why is it acting up on me? Hold on. All right, typo. There we go. Go to, okay. Don't you love it? Don't you love live TV? I know I do. I mean, it's all good. What can you just have to roll. You just gotta roll with it. Roll with it. And that's what I'm good at. So keep it moving. So anyway, we have some questions on the floor, on the table. I got like 3 different avenues that is basically tapping into everything. We've got LinkedIn. That's the one I couldn't think of. LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And so I'm trying to address everybody because sometimes the comments are moving faster than I am. So I want to make sure that we're good. So we've got some comments on Facebook that I'm trying to catch up with. We got comments on LinkedIn. So I just want to be true to my art gallery and make sure I address everybody. Okay. So let's zoom back in. Love Is Series, and this is part 3. And my couple is hopefully going to pop on, but until then, we can definitely hold it down for them by answering some of the questions that the audience was giving this morning. And if you missed it this morning, like I said, go to the Facebook page, the Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show. You can catch all the good stuff. You can catch the first show, the second show, the evening shows. The Mona Lisa Monroe Morning Show will give you the morning shows, and the Mona Lisa Monroe Show will give you the evening shows. So please go on Facebook, catch it, check it out. Go on my Facebook, my website. You can catch it then. But I'm going to just dive right in. Love is Series Part 3, and I'm going to answer some of the questions that was happening this morning. So one of the questions was, what percent would you say love has in a marriage? Now, this morning I said that I think that love has 70% in a marriage, 70%. And then I even went into, explanation mode, because everybody's like, okay, what you mean 70%? No problem. I can explain that. I feel like the reason why it's 70 is because love covers a multitude of sin. And love can basically work through and handle anything. So that's why it's 70% for me. Now, the other 10% would be finances, 10%, communication, 10%, and laughter, 10%. But I definitely think love is 70%. So what do you guys think about the percentage of love in a marriage? Y'all come on, talk to me, because this show is not a show without you talking to me. So answer the question, my dear portraits out there. What percentage would you say love has in a marriage? I think it's important, but it's not the main thing. Well, it is, and then it isn't, because like I said, it's 70% to me. I think finances are important. And I also think that communication and laughter. Oh, it looks like we've got our couple. Good morning.
Hello, good evening.
Oh, what I say? Good morning. I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. We're gonna work this thing out. Good evening. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. How are you, man?
Oh, we got the church phrase going on.
Let the church say yeah.
So, okay, well, since you're here, sir, introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Elijah Cash. I am the son of this beautiful woman that y'all are have the joy of being your host for the evening and the host of this television and broadcast studio show. I am the second born son. I'm not sure if she's had claimed all of her children as of yet, but I am the second born, 92 baby. And very proud to call this woman my mother, and everything that I am today is because of the sacrifices and the things that she instilled in me today. So,
sucky now. Well, I thank God for that. That's really that. Let me hold it together on that one.
Hold it together.
So I hope I taught you a little something in this area of love. Now, the month of February, this the Love Is series, and we had couples all month long answering different questions from the audience, and basically be honest, try to help somebody, and we're going to have audience members to chime in, questions, whatever the case may be, and I'm an open book, but try your best to be as honest as possible. That's the beauty of this show. The first question is, what percent would you say love has in a marriage?
What percentage would I say love has in a marriage?
Yes. Now, if you want me to go first while you think, I could do that, because I was just telling the audience before you got on that I think it's 70%. And the reason why I said 70 is because love covers a multitude of sin, which basically means love is going to work it out. Love is going to make it happen. Love is going to be forgiving. It's going to be unconditional. That's why it's 70%. And then you wonder, okay, you still got 30. Well, 10% of that, I think, is finances. Another 10% is laughter. And then the last 10% would be communication. So that's the reason why I said 70.
Okay. With all things considered, I'm still going to go forward with 100%.
Ooh,
And
okay.
why I say 100% is because love is a sense of a foundation for a lot of different traits and qualities that go into a marriage and what makes a marriage compatible, right? So having trust, when you're talking about your finances, when you're talking about communication, there has to be a sense of not only respect, not only willing to sacrifice, not only those things, but there's a sense of love that's attached to it as well, right?
Oh,
You have to be willing to go in full-heartedly, knowing that I'm not going to always come out with it exactly my way, right? So there's
right.
the love that you have for the other person to know that you're sacrificing a bit of what you want for the betterment of somebody else. So
Right.
communication is in that, right? Finances is in that. Everything that you mentioned prior to has some sort of attachment to the feelings and the love that you have for one another. So I would go on to say that 100% of love is involved in a marriage at any given point, any given turn. Whether you've forgiven somebody, you got to have love. Whether you trust in somebody, you got to have love. Whether you're communicating with somebody, you have to have love.
That's good. I like that because love is combined and connected to all of those things. So I feel you on that. That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. 100%. You know, you really got me thinking on that one. That's a good one. I
Yeah, I think.
love it.
Yeah, I
Every
think
time you get,
that's what I'm here for.
that's
That's what I'm here for.
to get me to thinking,
That's it.
Okay, so let's tackle the audience and see what they got for us. Oh,
Okay.
somebody said, "Amen, totally agree." So you got some audience members totally agreeing with you. Miss
Preach.
Tabitha Daniel, thanks for tuning in, Tabitha. So let's go with this next question. What is your take on the understanding of marriage in the 21st century? Now, that one, this morning, I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. It is nothing like when I was coming up. Marriage was honorable. Marriage was solid. Marriage was something that you were hoping for. And now it's like open marriage. Partner versus husband and wife title. It's just a whole bunch of stuff out there.
I think my biggest takeaway from it, obviously, my background or what I'm trying to pursue in now as far as business wise is open up my own wedding and event venue, right? So
That's right.
I've done a lot of research on couples and not just the couples of the past, but the couples of now, right? To see what the difference is, what can drive revenue, what type of audience should I be searching for, everything else. And what I found is not only are we, getting divorced at a higher rate than we have in the pretty much that we know of.
Ever.
So occurring within the first 2 years of marriage, and you also see it within these younger couples, right?
Yeah.
So we don't really have not only the couples that are lasting beyond the year and a half, 2 years, but the
Mm-hmm.
actual idols in the parents or the other figures that's been around 50 plus years of marriage to show the younger generation this is how it's done, right?
Right.
So
Right.
without with the absence of an idol, with the absence of a goal, with the
Mm-hmm.
absence of something to pursue, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you're out here fending for yourself, right? You make a
Ooh.
go, and then when you bring in the new generation of we want everything how we want it
Right
now, it our way, and if it doesn't happen that way, I'm out the door, right?
now.
It's not
Yeah.
the sense of what you vow to do forever and always, through
Right.
sick or poor, through whatever, poor finance, whatever the case may be. It ain't like that anymore.
No.
They sitting up there taking the photos for the Instagram. They ain't doing it in the light of the Lord, saying that I truly vow to be with this person for the rest of my life. So
Is that hard to think about as a millennial or as someone, someone young? It's like for life. What?
I think for some people it is like, obviously, I'm not 30 yet, so the majority of my friends and my college, they're not married. They're looking to enjoy their lives and everything else. But I always say it's how you were raised. It's what you had in front of you. As growing up, I've always wanted the white picket fence, the big house, the kids running around. That was always my dream. So
Yeah. Yeah.
living in what I wanted to pursue. My friends,
Right.
they not looking to do those things, and that's perfectly fine. But
Right.
when it comes to establishing those relationships that's going to last 50 plus years or for the rest of your life, you
Hmm.
have to be able to find somebody like-minded and pursuing the same thing that you are. Because if they
Yeah.
don't believe that you're going to be able to last forever and you do, well, guess
Mhm.
what? It ain't going to work.
Right.
Because one
Right.
person already has a foot halfway out the door while you sitting here solid in your foundation. So
So
that's where the issue comes up.
it's so interesting to me how the younger generation sees marriage. Like, one of the things is I'm gonna live with you first before I walk down the aisle because I need to know what I'm dealing with. And I'm
Right,
like going, that was not heard of when I was growing up. You were
right.
not living with anybody until they put a ring on it.
Like they say, you wasn't shacking up. You wasn't shacking up with nobody until you had a ring. And I will say that the times are a little bit different. I don't really know of couples nowadays who don't spend extended amount of times with each other, either living together or being relatively close or whatever the case may be, prior to being married.
Mhm.
You just really don't see that anymore. It's like I want to rent before I buy, kind
Yeah,
of
it's
situation.
jacked up.
I want
We
to
got
be able to have every sort of check mark on my checklist before I even think about stepping foot up there in front of.
Oh Lordy. Okay, so we've got yes, let them know, cousin. And then we got Amen, Elijah Cash. And we got I totally agree. So you got some fans going on. So
We
what
just
is
speak our
what
truth. We just speak our truth. That's all we doing.
So, because I know I raised you to have different, a core belief system and ethics and morals. But you grow, you can do what you want to do.
Right.
So you dated for a while before you chose to be married.
Absolutely.
So was that the vetting process that youngsters do now? You date for like 5 years until you really really know.
Well, well, it was slightly different for me because it wasn't just like me dating as a grown man. It was I met my wife my freshman year in college, right?
Okay, okay,
So going through, I guess, the vetting process, if you would, it wasn't necessarily the same being in college. Everybody who's been there in that environment, you kind of know, like, all right, if we make it out of here, we something for real, for real. Like it was kind of one of those because there's so many different temptations and all different,
that's true.
things that's going on.
That's true.
But and then also the fact of you being a 18, 19-year-old kid, and dating versus you being out of college 22, 23, 24 years old and then starting a relationship there. So I'm not going to say like they didn't necessarily matter or anything like that. It was just the very first brick of the foundation when we were dating in the beginning part. When we got out of college and it was all the distractions gone, it's you and me. It's focusing on what can we build on. You know, when you really have that opportunity to get to know one another without anything else going on, that's when you kind of start the timer, because you've now grown a little bit. You lose the distractions. You get to have more of that, you know, one-on-one real conversation, real life situations too. You those things to kind of lean on and then decide to kind of build from there. So that's why our dating kind of lasted a little bit longer. You know, it was like, okay, well, we graduated, but let's get into some of this real stuff now. You know, let's kind of figure this part of it.
You're right, because, you know, high school, college, you doing this, you doing that, you're doing this. Right. And then when you're out, it's me and you. It's me and you. Do I really like you? Do we really, really get along? And it reminds me of someone in the military. Marriages last for 20, 30 years because he gone.
Right.
But the moment that he retires and comes home, women are like, wait a minute, I don't really like you, you know, and that's a lot of situations, you know,
right.
Whether it's long distance, whether it's, you know, whatever the case may be, the pandemic, my goodness. Now the pandemic was real for a lot of couples.
It was eye-opening. It was
eye-opening because there was no outside. You could not go to work and have 8 hours of peace or whatever you want to see it as.
Right.
You were looking at your children. You were looking at that spouse.
Yep.
And do I really like you?
Yeah. Do I like y'all for real? Wait. Yeah. Right.
It was real. And believe it or not, a lot of couples split during the pandemic, and some even got closer. It just depends. You know, it just depended.
Absolutely.
So next question on the floor. Would you have waited now that you know about marriage? Now, that was a question that was very interesting for me. And I said, I would have waited, because back then, because I can only, you know, go with what I know. I was 23 years old. I did not know who I was at 23. And then when I started to know who I was, I looked like a totally different person. And so the person who I was married to was like, why you changing? Why you tripping? And I'm like, it's me. You know. So you got married at what age?
I was 25.
Right. So would you, now that you know, would you have waited until later, or are you good? Like Gary, my husband, he was like, oh, I'm good. I'm straight. I made that decision at 26 because I wanted to get married at 26.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Kind of, you know, playing off of the last question, spending so much time with my wife beforehand, seeing the good, the bad, the ugly, growing with one another. It wouldn't have mattered if we waited another 5 years. It wouldn't have mattered if we waited another 5 days. We were going to be together. We was going to marry each other. We was going to start this beautiful family that we have now. It was a thing. So the good thing is, in going back even further, when I was talking about having someone like-minded, my wife understands that, you know, we did get into it at young ages, and there's opportunities for us to grow. Every single time we open up our mouths, every single time we have a conversation, every single time there's an argument, there's opportunities to grow. So having someone that I can bounce that off of, and knowing that we are getting better because of it, single thing. It would be different if I had a partner that I kind of had to groom to that. Then I'd be like, maybe I
Oh,
waited a little bit because
yeah.
maybe I'm not mature enough, she's not mature enough, or we can't really have these conversations yet. But I don't
Mm,
have that. You know,
right.
our relationship isn't like that. We're able to talk about it. We're able to address it. We're able to
Yeah.
move forward. We're able to bring out other situation. I mean, other outcomes that we can come to. You know, like it's something that's positive even in the negative. You know,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and that's what's important. And knowing that now, I wouldn't change a single thing.
Well, that is awesome. That is so good. And I just love the fact that you and Vanessa grew together. You
Right.
know, sometimes couples, you know, have this growing spurt different times, different time frames. And, you know, they call it midlife crisis, they call it, you know, whatever. But when two people grow together, I think that one of the other person chooses to go with that other person in that growth spurt. You see what I'm saying? Like if I see that person going through stretching pains or growing pains, it's up to me to be patient. It's up to me to be kind and loving as they go through it. And I just pray that that person does the same for me because we're two different people coming together as one. So
Right.
we're not going to see things eye to eye all the time, you
Right.
know? And
Right.
so one of the questions from one of the previous shows was, you know, of course, we talk about the good stuff in marriage, but what about those times that there is conflict, that there is a debate, or there's a passionate conversation? I hate to say fighting because, you know, we ain't talking about none of this.
Hey, look, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. This what it's all about. This is what it's all about. In
Yeah,
marriage, if you're not fighting with your spouse, you may need to figure something out because
that's what I said.
if,
That's what I said.
if you're not having no arguments, if everything is a willy nilly, roses and petals,
Somebody lying.
it's somebody doing something. So you need to go and figure that out. You know,
Shoot, somebody lying. Cause I mean, come on now. Some days I don't feel like it. I don't feel you. It's not that day. And
right,
then same for them, you
right.
know. And so what did you and Vanessa do or or you know, how did y'all get over the hump? You know, when there was a conflict in the marriage, in the relationship, what did you guys do to now say, now we know what we need to do every time this occurs?
Well, let me actually back up because again, me and my wife have been through a lot of different things, right? Going being together for so long. We just now hit 10 years this week. We've actually been together, so we've only been married for 3 going on 4 this year, but we've been together for 10.
Oh wow.
So it hasn't always been perfect. It hasn't
Right.
always been, roses, petals, and everything else is going on. So when those moments came where we thought it wasn't going to work, where we
Hmm.
thought that there was nothing else that we can do,
Hmm.
it was number one, going to God, period.
Right.
Because if he's not in the center of it, then it's going to fail regardless. So that was
Regard.
allowing ourselves to grow and not necessarily together initially. It was to Elijah, you grow with your relationship with God. Vanessa, you grow with your relationship with God. And then from there, we're going to grow
Yeah.
together. So
Right. Right.
that's how it initially started, right? And then it went from now that we have some spiritual growth and personal growth, are we
Hmm.
able to use that to better our relationship, right?
Right.
How
Right.
how can I address this a different type of way to where it's not affecting her this way? Or how
Right.
explain this a different type of way to where she's not reacting this certain type of way. It
Hmm.
was it was basically just caring. We talked about how love, or I explained how love is being 100% involved in it. It's basically loving my wife enough to say, I'm going to put forth an effort to figure it out.
Right. Right. Right.
So going to God, going into prayer. There were times where, my mother is a witness to it. I call her and say, Mom, this is what's going on. I need some prayer. I need some help. I need some scripture. Whatever.
Right.
My
Right.
mother, my spiritual backbone for everybody on the phone call. So it wouldn't take nothing but 2 seconds for her to say, go read X, Y, and Z, Psalm this, that, and the third, and go read the story on this. Call me back. It was almost like a prescription. Take this and call me in the morning.
I'm
And
telling you,
lo and behold, it would be something that was right on track with how I was feeling in the moment, how I was feeling towards my wife, how I was feeling in my relationship, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And it allowed me to kind of break it down, because everybody always feels like, oh, you know what? Everybody can't be going through this. All right, there ain't no way, this.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
I must be the only person.
Yeah.
And when you get to the word, you be like, well, wait a minute. It show do say right here.
Everything.
It show say this already now.
Yes.
It show is talking about everything I'm going through right now.
It's in there.
It humbles you.
I'm telling you, the Bible is applicable right now. But you can only know that if you read it.
Right.
You can only know that if you read it. So when you read it and you just read it, because it's in there. And whenever you go through something, God is going to pull it. He's going to pull that scripture. You're going to be like, wait a minute. I remember it's in there. So every time you have a hard time or you don't understand or whatever, just get quiet, ask the Lord, he'll give it to you. But he can't work with nothing if you ain't got nothing in you. Trust me.
I tell you. And for the people that, I ain't saying that you have to, know the Bible front to back to front, anything like that. Just have a sense.
Get a gist
of his presence in your life.
Yeah.
And you just all of a sudden things just start to open up a little bit. You be like, man, I didn't see that before.
Yeah.
Or, man, I sure can do that. And man, this scripture show this, say that. Just be open to it, and he'll do the rest. He'll do the rest.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to call you after the show, because earlier we ended up getting disconnected. So I need to call you on the situation that we were talking about yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to catch up on you.
Mama,
so
that on the we on the show right now. You over talking about let me call you about something? Look,
no, that's sort of outside of what we talked about. But
Lord, y'all, please don't log off. I know y'all listen to my mom talking about personal calls. We still here.
That's your business. So all right. So we got, how important is finances in a marriage? Oof. Like I said, I think it's 10. And Gary was saying,
important is it? No, people don't understand. Finances will ruin a marriage.
Oh yes.
One of the leading reasons why people get divorced, even sometimes considered over cheating and being with someone, adultery, and everything else.
It is.
I will say this. If you're vetting or courting, whatever the case may be, and you're preparing for marriage, that conversation needs to already been out and about. If you getting married, or you just not got married, and you talking about what the finances looking like, baby, you done missed it.
Wait a minute.
How
about what's your credit score?
Right. You got it, and I hate to say it, but it's one of them things to where you need to have the most information possible to best equip yourself for the future with this other being, right?
Ooh, you better believe it.
That you're about to get into. Oh, now that I'm married, I can go buy this house. I'm gonna go buy this car. We gonna have our kids. We gonna do X, Z. Well, guess what? None of that happens if you don't have your finances in order.
That's right.
You can't buy that house with the picket fence. You can't buy that brand new Lexus and Benz that you want. You ain't about to 5-6 babies.
Right.
Everybody think you just let them have some kids. Them kids cost some money.
Gary said finances finance love. I can't finesse you without the finances, okay?
Oh, now look, hold on. That's Gary. Y'all can still do things without having a single penny on the table. But
look,
don't be expecting something that requires finances. That's what I'm saying. Don't be expecting one of these drastic things to check off your list when you get married. When your man sitting over there with a credit score of 250, that just
you ain't gonna be able to do it. Okay, we got Great Wisdom Elijah, and then we've got That Is Your Mom. She is an amazing resource. Amen. Thank you. Yes. Destiny, Treasury, Justin, Maya. Who else is on here? Ooh, Tabitha. Thank y'all. Diane. Thank y'all for chiming in. We got one more question for Elijah, and the evening shows is about 30 minutes. The morning show is an hour, so we're gonna have to get you and Vanessa on one of these mornings that both of y'all are off or something to get you guys back on the show.
We working on the finances, ain't it? We ain't both off in no morning. I tell you.
or we could do a longer show at night, but I just gotta prep it. So, okay. What do you think the key to marriage is? Now, we're talking about your marriage because everybody's different. So, what do you think the key to your marriage is?
The key to marriage is understanding that there's more than one key needed.
Look at here. Is he deep?
Now is I'm he deep audience? Because a lot of people get it confused. They're like, oh, the key to marriage is communication. You hear that a lot. As long as you communicate, everything will be all right. Well, I know some people that communicated perfectly fine. They're not together. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
It's understanding. Understand that it's not just one single thing that's just going to magically make your marriage work. It's never one single thing. Yeah. It's going to be the communication. It's going to be respect. It's going to be love. It's going to be trust. It's going to be fine. It's going to be being together. It's going to be whatever it is that it takes to make your marriage work. That's what it is. So don't go into a marriage thinking that, oh, I got one key to success. And once I put that bad boy in and twist it, that door gonna open. It's one of them doors that got about 50 locks on it, and you need to make sure you got all your keys ready. That's what the key to success is.
Emma said, not finances. Wait a minute,
Emma. Finances too, Emma.
Oh, not for finesse. That's what she said, not finesse.
Oh, finesse.
All right. Well, before we head it on out, Elijah, what would you tell couples or someone that's looking for love? What would you tell them about love who's looking for it?
If you're looking for love, don't follow the trend of today, right? Oh. Don't get on the dating apps. Don't be trying to look for everybody in the club.
Some people get married from the dating apps now.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, because I think people have now resolved and think that the idea is that this is the only thing that I can do. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Like we've kind of been, I don't know, I guess brainwashed into the idea that if I'm not on Tinder, Hinda, Bumblebee, all this other mess, then I ain't gonna be able to find somebody. And then
just open.
A lot of people get scared because they have these biological clocks, right? If by this time I ain't gonna find this. I ain't gonna have these babies. I ain't gonna have these kids. Number one, love yourself.
True.
Have your relationship with God and love yourself. That's the very first thing. Number two, don't fall for everything that you see out there thinking that is the perfect ideal image of love. You have your own plate, your own idea of what love is. Pursue what it is that you want, not what people are telling you.
Right.
You go when you're ready too. Mm-hmm. Don't go just because your biological clock is ticking. You be like, oh, I'm just gonna go and marry this fool after I dated him for 2 months. And you be all confused because you be like, where all this come from? You don't know this man.
Right.
You don't know this woman.
Give yourself some time.
Give yourself some time. Actually, they say fall in love. Fall in love with that person. Get to know them to the point to where you say, I love every single thing about this person through and through. If you can't tell your significant other what their favorite bedtime snack is, their middle name, their favorite color, and all that, you might need a little bit more time. You might need a little bit more time. If he want to live in the country or the city, do you know that? Would they prefer the country or the city? You got to know those little things.
The essence of a person. You got to know the essence of a person.
Absolutely.
Without them even opening their mouth, you know what, they'll like this, or they're not gonna like that. You gotta know that person.
Right.
Finish the person's sentences and stuff like that. And I'm one of those, romantic type people. So I'm just like, the moment that I can think of what you want or what you like and get it right, I'm thinking, that's what's up.
Yeah, care for somebody enough to the point to where you start to think about them more than you think about yourself.
There you go.
There you go. And if you can do that, then you're probably in a really good spot. You could probably start having conversations about making the next step and things like that. Because I guarantee you, if you stepping up to that altar and you don't really care for that person like that, and you thinking about like, oh, what can I do and how can I benefit myself? And it ain't gonna work.
You know what? I think we need to end on that note right there. I like that. If you start thinking about that person more than you thinking about yourself, that's a good situation there. Elijah, man, you made your mama proud tonight. Thank you so much for being on the show. The Love Is series.
Do what I can.
I'm going to have to bring y'all back. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring y'all back. Y'all be geared up and ready. Next Thursday, it's on and popping. I want y'all back because the millennials, the younger folk, I'm curious. I want to know what y'all think. Man, what y'all
nobody trying to hear me, mama. This all they want from me right now.
Y'all want Elijah back, right? Y'all want Elijah back on the show.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for taking the time out to listen to me today.
Tell me y'all want Elijah back, and he'll be back next Thursday. Okay, Kirk said, I hear you. Y'all okay?
Kirk's supposed to be at work.
What? Evan Wright said, good job, Elijah Cash. Kirk said, yes, he wants you back. So next Thursday, you and Vanessa, y'all get ready to go. We got thumbs up. We got hearts flying. We gonna have y'all back on the show. I'm telling you, just get ready. Thursday at 7 p.m., the Love Is series. Next Thursday is our last show, and we want as many couples as possible. Hopefully, we can bring back some of the ones who you guys loved and liked, and maybe bring back some new ones. But until then, you guys, thank you for tuning in to Evenings with Mona Lisa. And Elijah Cash, thank you for spending time with us. Now, don't forget, next Thursday. I'm telling you.
I got one more thing before I go.
Okay.
I asked the secret of a marriage to a man that was married for 70 years. He said the secret was me and my wife never wanted a divorce at the same time. Y'all take it easy. Love y'all.
All right. Oh my goodness. What a show. Now, Elijah is my son. He is the second born. And I tell you, I'm so proud of him. He's been married for, he said 3 years now. And he was with Vanessa for 10. So surprisingly enough, that brother know what he's talking about. So thank you again for tuning in. And you guys, thank you for commenting, man. Elijah set the internet on fire. Thank you for tuning in with Evenings with Mona Lisa. And I promise, next Thursday, we're going to have as many couples on the show as possible. See ya. Love ya.